Hello and welcome to today's p+log. It's been a while. Give me a second. Already a sweat spot. Anyways, it's been a while. I'm taking today's p+log at a different angle today. And that's because I came from running and then turned walking. And what I like to do is I like to put my feet up to have the blood rush to the upper part of my body. So yeah, don't mind me doing that. But let me first, should have done this in the beginning. Okay. This p+log actually could have been done more or less 2 to 3 weeks ago. But I'm glad I didn't do it 2 or 3 weeks ago. Here's what happened 2 or 3 weeks ago. I saw a video talking about how millennials react to Seinfeld and if Seinfeld still holds up. Now, if you don't know me yet, I love Seinfeld. It is one of my favorite shows, and I don't like a lot of shows because I don't like finding new shows. If I watch a new show, it's because my brother or someone who I trust has recommended me a show and or we're watching it together. So, I can't get into new shows, but I love watching shows that I know about, shows I'm familiar with, shows that I find value in. And Seinfeld, surprisingly, is one of those shows. Now, Seinfeld is not, it's not for the faint of heart, let's say. And let me just tell you, the generation of millennials, they're faint of heart. Let me just put it that way. In today's day, we would call them snowflakes. Not, of course, everybody. And I'm not saying everyone should have thick skin. But if you watch the video of what they get offended by in the show, it's over like the smallest things. And it's like, wow, I can't people get offended by this. And my generation of all people. So yeah, I was going to do a review on that, but, you know, I decided not to because I knew that I didn't want to post any videos that were public because I want to take this time away from putting my opinion out there and really get to know and study the truth that I do believe in, which is that of the Bible. I have my Jesus Bible. I've been using it since 2017. January 2017. It is now January 2019. So wow, a 2-year-old Bible. That's pretty good. Anyways, I was gonna do that review on that video of millennials reacting to Seinfeld. But once again, I wanted to study the truth. But lo and behold, serendipity happened. And today, so I've been doing a Bible study with my family. And today's Bible study, I wanted to see what the New Testament application, which means the Christian application of the story of Noah and the ark. I wanted to see what the application would be. And I was looking through scriptures, I was looking at Hebrews, I was looking at Romans, but eventually I landed on doing Ephesians, and that Ephesians chapter 4 to chapter 5, not the whole chapters, but just select verses. I thought that they would be the most fitting for applying Noah and the ark. Not really the entire story, but, one of the reasons why everyone, almost practically hates God, who isn't Christian at least, and, they really put a special eye on this specific story, is because it's like he kills the whole earth except for Noah and the animals. A few pairs of animals. And, not a few pairs. Well, you could say a few pairs because, there are people who think that unicorns and all that stuff. Not saying they're wrong, just saying that I don't have an opinion on it. Anyways, there's a lot of hate and, not really bitterness, but just like, how's a God so loving if he's gonna flood the whole earth? And I don't want to be saying so many other people's opinion, but as for me, I believe that it is to show how much God does not tolerate wickedness. And wickedness comes in many forms, but ultimately it's anything that deviates from purpose or truth, which are one and the same, really. And for those that don't understand God's anger or frustration over the wickedness of the world, they don't understand the distaste and the crime of living an untruthful life, I guess you could say. But yeah, I think it's important to be mindful that God wanted one thing and it's like his creation was doing another thing. So he wanted to start fresh, and he wanted to bring that starting from one person, and he saw that Noah was the right person. So he starts with Noah. And of course, it still fails, but it's like he's constantly trying to define the relationship, I think, between him and creation. So that's what I think. Anyways, I thought that Ephesians chapter 4 verse 17 to chapter 5 verse 15, sorry, not 15, but 20, I thought this would be a good passage to read from, and I'm not going to read it all, but I do want to read one verse that really stuck out to me, because I think I was perfectly fine with everything until I got to this verse, which I think a lot of us have when we're reading the Bible. The Bible isn't supposed to be easy for us to accept, because we're human, and we have our own tendencies and our own desires. So whenever the Bible is saying something that we're not comfortable with wanting to change, of course it's going to be something like, I don't know if I want to take that. But anyways, this was the verse for me. Now it's specifically from Ephesians chapter 5 verse 4, where he says, I'm going to start with verse 3. But among you there must not be even a hint of sexual immorality, or of any kind of impurity, or of greed, because these are improper for God's holy people. That's verse 3. I did not have a problem with that. Here's verse 4. Nor should there be any obscenity, foolish talk, or coarse joking, which are out of place, but rather thanksgiving. So that's the verse. In other versions, it says filthy talk, foolish talking, and then crude joking or jesting. Um, and I think I had the most problem with the jesting part, because the jesting is a little bit different from the foolish talk and the filthy talk. Obscenity of and filthy talk for me is pretty easy. I don't cuss. I'll admit that I would only cuss if I'm singing Avril Lavigne. She's the only person I listen to who cusses. Sorry, my phone gave me a notification and I don't know. Oh, it's because I'm getting a phone call. Decline. Okay. Sorry. But yeah, so Avril Lavigne is the only person where I would cuss. But I don't do it around, the youngers, and I don't do it, just carelessly. My opinion when it comes to cussing is, if you can't describe what you're trying to say, because there's some intelligent people now who they will cuss, and it's for more of an expression type, not because, what you would see with the urban types. I'm talking like Michael Scott. The urban types is they use it as a filler word, as a lack of better words. So to me, I think it's a sign of ignorance when you use filthy talk as a filler, because it sounds very ignorant. And even to, if that's all you really talk about, if you use the cuss word now as it's intended to exist, like the F word, especially the F word, and then this cunt now, that's the C word that I don't like. And then it's just, I'm gonna erase that. No, I can't, because it's unfiltered. Oh well. Anyways, when it's cuss words that are used and it's like you're really trying to describe something completely different, using a substitute of a cuss word, that shows ignorance to me, and I think that's pretty stupid. You shouldn't do that. And that is one way of deviating from truth. So me, I completely agree. Cuss words are pretty much a waste of time, unless it's really like a figurative, it's an expression. It's not really something that, it's like for a lack of better words or something. The next one was foolish talk, and me personally, I can't tolerate foolish talk. I already am someone who doesn't like wasting time talking about things that are really stupid. That's why I hate ignorance, in a sense. Like, okay, I understand that we all are ignorant at some point, but to engage in something ignorantly, that's not wise, and that's kind of why I don't want to be public right now. I know I'm ignorant in many things, and I don't want to speak from a place of ignorance while giving advice. I think that's stupid. Once again, I really want to truthfully direct people to God, and not from just what I think might be right, but because I've read the Bible and I've understood it to the best that I can, and I've also gone to resources, so I'm not just speaking from my butt, So yeah, I totally agree. Foolish talk, that's stupid. Now, the last part was crude. See, I got a message from this Epic Christian Memes. Shout out to Epic Christian Memes and all the Christian memes on Instagram, by the way. They're great. And they're actually what made me think, by the way, about this verse even more, because I enjoy Christian memes. Anyways, and this will relate now to the jesting or the crude joking or coarse joking, as my Bible would say. And it's like, you can't make jokes about things, and I went to the commentaries to really understand what that last phrase meant, and they were saying something where it's like, not considering things sacred, that anything and everything is is okay to joke about, that's not okay. But it has to do with a lack of what I now understand is a lack of knowing how sacred things are, meaning lack of truth or something. You're saying a joke just because of it's coming out of ignorance again, but it's more like it's close to foolish talk, but not exactly, because foolish talk is speaking when you don't know, versus crude talk is speaking when you don't care to know. I think even more, which is probably worse. But you just don't care to see the sacredness of something, and that's foolish. So all in all, everything that when it comes to how we speak, anything that comes out of our mouth, that it is to be pure. I'm interpreting it this way, and I'm not saying it's gospel truth, but I am saying that we are humans with a sense of humor. And there's nothing wrong with laughing at the way someone talks. I'm thinking about Seinfeld now. Or the way maybe a certain people group does things, because it's just truth. Some of the things that we laugh at and observe, they're different, and it's funny because it's something that we can't relate to, or it's something we can relate to. Like, that's what humor is. But I think the problem is when we do that to forget truth now, or to discredit truth, or to put down truth, and to think that it's inferior, which is what political correctness does, which is why I hate it. Let me just put that out there. I don't like the idea of being politically correct or whatever else they say nowadays. I think that they're doing that, once again, not to be sensitive, but it's overly sensitive to the point where truth is now inferior to feelings. And maybe not, but that's how it's being conveyed in the mass. So that's why I'm not for political correctness. Now, there was something else I wanted to get to, and I forgot it. But yes, it's when you deviate from truth that humor is no longer a good idea. Oh, I just remembered it. Okay. However, as good as humor should be, whenever humor is used now to deflect truth, or an opportunity to be more truthful, an example I would give is watching a comedy or something as a way to not want to face or confront something. There are people who they'll make jokes or they'll watch television to distract themselves, and then they'll validate that by saying laughter is medicine for the soul. And yeah, laughter is medicine for the soul, but it doesn't mean you start lying to yourself and start deceiving yourself and start blinding yourself to the truth in order to feel better. Because if anything, you're curing the symptoms, but not the cause. So whatever pain you're feeling deep inside and you want to just cover it up with laughter, that's not honoring, the truth. That's not honoring God. And there will be moments where we do have to be sad, and you shouldn't have to feel like I'm going to be happy all the time in order to honor God, or I have to be happy all the time to live a good life because I don't want to be sad. Well, sometimes getting to the truth takes being sad, because truth isn't always nice. It's not always pleasant. It's not always comfortable. Whenever you're growing and whenever you're improving yourself, there's this pattern that pain is involved. Whether it's exercise, whether it's taking medicine, whether it's surgery, there are so many things that are good for us, but they don't always feel pleasant at the time. So there are many things that medicine, medicine or things that are to help us aren't pleasant. And humor is a pleasant thing, yes, that can also be a teaching tool, but it can also be a tool misused and abused to cover up and not deal with the actual issue. Because even medicine, there's painkillers, and there are people who will they will abuse the painkillers so that they don't really deal with the pain itself, and that it would stop actually. So yeah, like, humor is good. Humor, we need to use it to get to truth, to lead people to truth, not to blind ourselves, and not to deceive ourselves. Humor shouldn't be abused, but it should be used. All right, that's all I want to say. But yeah, millennials, we need to get it together. If I was to post that video then and not now, I would have felt really bad, because there would not be that much substance to it. Just that from my own feelings, do I think that we need to accept humor, but I do understand we need to be sensitive. There's several verses where Paul in the New Testament would talk about not being a stumbling block. But it doesn't mean now you start lying to yourself, So it's important to be truthful, and preserving the truth as we are living a Christian life, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's all I wanted to say today. Thanks for watching whenever you watch it. It's January 8th, 2019. I know I'm posting this video unlisted right now, but whenever you do get the chance to hear it, I appreciate it. I'm glad you watched or listened, and I hope you can laugh a little bit more and learn a little bit more. There's a saying that says I'm just kidding. It's from a video. I'm not gonna explain it. Maybe I'll show it someday. But there's this saying that goes, the truth hurts. I mean, a joke can hurt or something because it's a little bit true. And I think those are the best jokes. Of course, there are some jokes that are true in a sense that they hurt in an offensive way, as in they're not true of a particular person. Like, there are some stereotypes that are funny because they're true as a collective, right? But then as a particular, if you take that seriously, then it's not funny. But it's just having understanding and everything like that. But yeah, I'm starting to repeat myself. Just love the truth, guys. Honor the truth. Use humor correctly. Don't abuse it. Yeah. Okay. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.